Good morning, everyone. Oh, I just got a cup of coffee. It's still nice and hot. You know how it happens about halfway through and then it becomes lukewarm. And I like a little milk in it. And it's just at the end of the milk container. I'll shake it up so I have a little foam on there. So there's still some foam. So I need to take a sip first. Oh. Mmm. Oh, there's just something about coffee. Anytime I see something about, oh, coffee this, coffee that, I'm going, yeah, whatever, coffee this and coffee that. And again, if you have, coffee at a reasonable amount, which I don't. I love coffee. I have 3 or 4 cups every day. So far, so good. Okay, just saying. Whatever. Which brings me to uh, there was one news channel that I had kind of subscribed to on YouTube, and go, oh, okay, every once in a while go and check and see, and I guess uh, against my better judgment, or maybe for it, uh, I went and looked up one, they had some kind of a Christian conference, and got somewhere, can't remember where, guess it was in the United States somewhere, and they got threats, from who knows what about it, so they canceled it. And I listened to the newscaster on how he presented that. Okay, so you have a big conference coming up, and suddenly now, with all the other stuff that's going on, you get threats. What bomb threats are they? What kind of threats were they? And so they canceled it for the safety of everyone. But in the way that the newscaster presented this story, it was so leading the witness kind of thing, leading the thoughts of the people where they wanted it to go. And I listened, I'm going, wait a minute. So I thought, all right, what if I would hear about, I signed up to go to this conference, say, just as a spectator or as a speaker, right? And I'm hearing that and I'm going, okay, so what's more important right now? To send a message out there, or have this conference, which no doubt would have been a good conference, whatever. It's about Jesus and God, so probably messages everybody's already heard. Nothing really new when it comes down to it. Just where you get together and you support each other in your belief, this and that. Okay, you know what I mean. And I'm thinking, okay, is that more important now, or the threatened lives that it could have? Maybe it was just, oh, I bet you we could easily make them stop not doing that, right? Yes. So, as a person that cares, as a person that may or may not be there myself, or have a family member that may be going, with that looming over everyone, what would you suggest to do? So in the way that this whole news story kind of was given, was to steer me in the direction of discriminating and basically boycotting and hating on the hotel or the inn or whatever it was going to be, because they canceled it and gave in to terrorist threats. Right? Yeah, okay. That's where it went. And I'd say, okay. I said, my question is, if one of your loved ones would have been there, or would plan to go, or you yourself, what would you want? What would you want, and what would be the best for everyone? To forge ahead and say, well, we're not going to give up this now, and we're not going to be threatened, this, that, right? Or say, right now, and the way things are going, and supposedly the threats came from, and aside that big problems right now, or conflict. I'm not against canceling that event. because that event can easily be held online. Yes, very easily. And it could be at a undisclosed, the speakers, this, that, have them all be at an undisclosed, that's how you would fight back. That's how I would fight back. Undisclosed location, and then say, oh, here we go. We're going to do it online now. No problem. No one has to get on the road. No one has to, right? Yes. And we're going to do it anyway. I might even reach more people. Oh, then they wouldn't make money because that also costs money. I'm just saying. Then have a donation page then or something, right? Yeah. Or just do it at a, well, what is it about? Okay, just saying. Huh? But in the way, again, that these news was given, yes, I did not like, so I unsubscribed. Now I have no news channel at all. Don't care for news like that. I really don't. I want to make up my own mind. I don't want to be led. And according to the comments, you could tell, people, you've been had. You've been had with this as well. You're not making up your own mind. You're letting someone tell you how to think, and completely disregard the safety of others. Of course, unless, again, what if it was one of your own going there, being a speaker, or you yourself, then suddenly it looks different, doesn't it? Yeah. Yes? Alrighty, just saying. And we are, very exciting news, in a new book. Yes. I'm always excited to start a new book. Ezra started out good. The end of Ezra is, again, I don't know what suddenly happens in people's lives where they're going again in a direction where I have to say, but that's not God. Don't do that. What are you doing again now? All right? Yes? Okay. Anywho, so we're in the book of Nehemiah. And we have a little overhead because we're back in this one. Nehemiah presided from 445 until 433 BC over the restoration of the community and the rebuilding of the walls of Jerusalem, as Ezra was responsible for the religious regeneration and reform of the community after the exile. So Nehemiah was for organizing its security and establishing a sound administration, despite continuing opposition from the inhabitants of the surrounding towns. Well, if there's continuing opposition, then he's not doing something right either. The book is, what did I start out with? The book is composed by the chronicler, largely from a memoir of Nehemiah, but also with the help of various lists. Okay. Well, let's get started in the book of Nehemiah, Nehemiah's call, his mission to Judah, 1. How many we got here? Oh, golly, they're long ones. 11. Looks like 11, 12, no, 13. 13. Okay, the 13 days. Okay, Nehemiah, let's see. The words of Nehemiah, son of Hakaliah, it happened in the month of Chislev, in the 20th year, while I was in the citadel of Susa, that Hanani, one of my brothers, arrived with some men from Judah. I asked them about the Jews, those who had escaped and those who survived from the captivity, and about Jerusalem. They replied, the survivors remaining there in the province since the captivity are in a very bad and demoralized condition. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, from the captivity. Oh. Huh. The walls of Jerusalem are in ruins, and its gates have been burnt down. On hearing this, I sat down and wept. For some days I mourned, fasting and praying before the God of heaven. I said, Yahweh, God of heaven, the great and awe-inspiring God who keeps a covenant of faithful love with those who love him and obey his commandments, let your ear be attentive and your eyes open to listen to your servant's prayer, which I now offer to you day and night on behalf of your servants, the Israelites. I admit the sins of the Israelites, which we have committed against you. Both I and my father's house have sinned. We have acted very wickedly towards you by not keeping the commandments, laws, and rulings which you enjoyed on your servant Moses. Well, did it really happen there too? Remember, I beg you, the promise which you solemnly made to your servant Moses. Well, here we go again. Ay, 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 ay. Father, did you get an earful again? If you are unfaithful, I shall scatter you among the people. But if you come back to me and keep my commandments and practice them, even though those who have been banished are at the very sky's end, I shall gather them from there and bring them back to the place which I have chosen as a dwelling place for my name. Aha. Yet, what was the last one in Ezra? I'm just saying, okay, whatever. Doggone lip service of everyone. I'm so sick and tired of this. Since they are your servants, your people, whom you have redeemed with your mighty power and strong hand. O Lord, let your ear now be attentive to your servants' prayer and to the prayer of your servants who want to revere your name. I beg you, let your servant be successful today and win this man's compassion. At the time I was cupbearer to the king. Huh. That's an interesting start here. That's the end of one already, you guys. Yeah, there's longer ones. Easy peasy into the next book, right? Yes. Okay, so that's the beginning of the book of Nehemiah. So we have another one here that now is more in charge of the restoration of Jerusalem, and the people, I guess, gather them together again. And sounds like that the ones that were left behind and not went into captivity, which we know there were some that didn't do so well, and they were in a bad condition. That's interesting. Why? You know, when I read that and how Jerusalem and the gates were in ruins, and well, there were other people there too. So what? There was nobody in Jerusalem, and they're all just what? Were there for what? And they just let Jerusalem go into ruins. Okay. Well, they were there. Were they not allowed to do anything? Okay. You know, I've seen places where, and it used to be here like that in this county, where you came, you thought, man, don't these people know what a trash bag is? Don't they know that you don't just throw your trash wherever? I mean, is this something they weren't taught, or they're just doing it because they can, or what? They just don't care. I mean, it was bad, okay? And as I told in another video, I said, I'm not moving in. That was 40 years ago. I said, I'm not moving into a trash can. Okay, it was 36 years ago. We came here when my oldest one was just a few weeks old, a few months old, 3 months old or something. Not moving into a trash can. The whole county was a trash can, okay? What? So whose fault is that? Well, one can't clean up their surroundings? They're so demoralized, depressed, and I don't know what. Well, I don't know. Was it like that? Or is it just, well, there's somebody else needs to come do the job? Okay, I'm just saying. I've seen that in countries where, oh, this and that's happening, and I'm looking and going, what? And yet you can't pick up the trash? What's it take to pick up the trash and just put it somewhere? Burn what you can, right? And the rest of it, and it didn't look like they didn't have trash bags. I'm just saying, okay? Just because you're going through a hard time doesn't mean you have to become total what? incompetent, if anything that goes on around you? Just saying. Blame everyone else around you for what's going on, what's happening? Yes? Too lazy to do anything yourself? Okay, just saying. Okay? Yes? Now, I'm not talking about when there wasn't a big old earthquake or some big old flood or this or that, where, and interestingly enough, when things like that happen, people are right there cleaning up this, that, making, as I said, what? So the Israelites, after the ones that were left behind, couldn't keep the little that was still there for them nice and neat, clean up the broken walls, and right? Yeah? No, not possible. I'm just saying, right? Yes? Anywho, so right, we got Ezra, right, who takes up, okay, comes back and has some epiphany or this or that, and okay, and then where does that go though? Is it really just going in the right direction? You have one person, right, that the people are all looking to now, right, and all that, instead of let's do this really together and go in the right direction with it. Now, at the end of Ezra, what happens? Separating families. For what reason exactly? Huh? Okay. And here now is Nehemiah. One person comes back and sounds like he's in the position, puts himself in a position, maybe put in the position, has another epiphany, right? Yes, and to rebuild Jerusalem. Right? Yes. All right. Let's see where that's going. One person alone cannot do it. Maybe that's why. Where there are 2 or more people gathered in my name, I will be there too. You want to do it all by yourself, or and I know the working together isn't there. Really getting down to right. I said Ezra had some opposition in just tearing families apart and sending the wife and children who were what? They weren't foreigners. They were Israelites, especially if they were sired by the Israelite men, right? Yes? Come on now. But they sent them away too? I'm just saying. What is that? And there was opposition from people who sounded like they didn't have any foreign wives or this or that, but seemed to see a little better through the whole fog than Ezra did at the end. Yes, and I don't know what happened to them. Though they said, there was opposition, they didn't say anything about if they were heard or not, or, right? Yes, sounded like, at the end, sounds like that there were too few, and, anyway. And seems like the men that returned with these wives and children, the Israelite men, they didn't seem they didn't have a problem. Seems to be a lot of them. We had read a whole list. Didn't have a problem to do that. They were all right with that. Oh, yeah. Oof, good riddance. I don't have to take care of them. What is that? What kind of attitude did these people have? I'm just wondering, right? Oh, what did I start out with? What kind of attitude are people having towards a threat that's known? It's not like, didn't know. Everybody got blown up. It's a known threat. What you do? You have to make a decision. Yes? In my opinion, when it came to that conference, to cancel it was the right thing to do. Oh, let the other ones win? They're not winning. If they can't take a life, they're not winning. Okay? To give in, say, well, we're not taking a chance here. We're talking about a lot of people's lives. Then you're winning. Then you're making the right decision. The right decision is on the winner's side. Okay? Yes? Just saying. All right. So it seems like none of these men accused of sinning by marrying a foreign wife. And it talks about wives, which I'm assuming they're not concubines and they weren't slaves, right? They were talking about wives. So, and the men just let that happen? Wow, okay. Rather than, okay, can we just not abandon these women and children, which is my wife and my children, and now just move forward with that until we're real stabilized and find a solution where everybody works together, right? Yes, with this conference there too. Okay, guys, we got this problem. We have to solve this so that everyone stays safe. So how are we going to do that? We have to work together, find another way. And you know what? If this is really a Christian conference, talk about Jesus, this and that, and okay, number one thing, we're going to pray. We're going to pray for a solution where we can still move forward with what we would like to give. If there's a message to give, right? If it's not just about money making, I don't know, maybe that is. Okay, I'm just saying. And then you will find God will be with you. He absolutely, Heavenly Parent will be with you. You will find a proper solution to the problem. Yes? And move forward. That's what you do. There. Anyway. But, yeah, interesting on how I feel like Ezra first moved on forward properly, right? And then suddenly he was trying to fix a problem that is already there. It's there. It's not, it should, he wants to abandon people, women and children. He wants the men to abandon women and children for the sake of God. Okay, that's a weird one. People who's, well, we're not going to give in to threats, and they should just, in that end, that should be, you should boycott that. So you're willing, so you're willing for what? The sake of not giving in, this and that, you're willing to sacrifice people? Possibly? People's lives? Just so you can, well then, okay, I tell you what. Then this conference should go forward in another location, preferably somewhere outside where if anything happens, it'll be all outside and a building isn't going to be blown up and all that, right? Yes? Anyone that feels that way, I'd like to see you at that conference. Yes? Yeah? Uh-huh. And you take that risk, plus the speakers that are there, okay? And then you're making a decision. You yourself are making a decision to be there under threat. Yes? It could be done that way. And also have it on the internet where other people say, well, I'm not going. I already know there could be something, so I'm not going to go and put myself in the way of harm because I still have things to do. I've got children to take care of. Yeah, I need to be a good husband and a good wife. I got to pay bills. I can't just be blown up or this or that. Right? Yeah, okay. I'm just saying. Yes? Anywho, so, done with news. Sick and tired of it. Sick and tired of being for newscasters and reporters trying to get into my head and telling me on how I need to feel and see certain things. And then, interestingly enough, these terrorists, if they are, whoever sent the threats, have been successful, regardless. Because on how have I've seen on how the people in the comments responded, towards whom? Towards the people who decided that, and they called it an inn, so a motel, hotel, that decided against. Now they're against them. Boycott them. Well, there's people working there otherwise as well. That's their job. So, are you hearing me? So, it's not about canceling the conference, this Christian conference. It's about who are you against now? It's just like, saw that's coming out. Anyway, had my say. Nehemiah, let's see what he's going to do. We'll keep on going. Just interesting how the Old Testament, it's like we're still living in it in so many different ways, right? Yes? Gee. Well, anywho, that's all I have to share today. Yes? It's a lazy Sunday, right? Yeah. May Heavenly Parent bless you, protect you, embrace you with love, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow.